So page 20. We worked on fractions yesterday, so now we're gonna do more with it. We're gonna add and subtract fractions. So let's say this, let's try number 7 right here. Let's start off with a nice easy one. Whenever we add or subtract fractions, we need lowest common denominator, LCD. So in this case, when I have half a pizza and I add a quarter pizza, yes, I know right away I have 3/4 of a pizza. How do we get that? Well, just to review, okay? Lowest common denominator between 2 and 4 is 4. So when you a half is the same as 2/4. So when you do 2/4 plus 1/4, you get the 3/4. Okay, so that's the logic between why a half a pizza plus a quarter of a pizza, you get 3/4 pizza. Okay, so those are the formal steps. Okay, but that one was pretty obvious. Let's do one that's not as obvious. So right here, 3/8, take away 5/9. Okay. So again, we need lowest common denominator. Cheryl, if you have not mistaken, what is your lowest common denominator?
If I have not been mistaken, it's 72.
72. See, I know you would have not mistaken. Okay, so this is how I always like to set it up because I want to change this fraction to something over 72. I want to change the second fraction to something over 72. And in between, I'm subtracting. So it just sets it up nice and neatly so then I know what I'm trying to do next. So equivalent fractions, 8 times 9 gives you 72. So 3 times 9 gives you 27. Okay, 9 times 8 gives me 72. So 5 times 8 gives me 40. Okay, 27 minus 40, what is that? Negative 13 over 72. Okay. Can I change that to a mixed number? No, because my numerator is smaller than my denominator. So this is just a regular fraction. That's my answer. Can't do anything else. Okay.
Okay, that's not a number,
All the numbers we are doing in grade 9 are real numbers. Do you mean a rational number?
No, like the negative fraction.
A negative fraction? Okay, so because it's negative and it's a fraction, so it's rational. It's not an integer. Okay. But good. Tying it to day 1 of the lesson. Okay, so let's try 10J. 10J right here. Okay. Now, lowest common denominator. What is my LCD between 18 and 12? Jeffrey?
36.
36. Good. Now, let's say I didn't see the 36 and I just multiplied the 18 with the 12 and I got that humongous number. Is it the end of the world? No, it will still work. It's just that at the end you'll have to simplify. Okay, so again, I'm just setting it up. I carry down the signs as is. Okay, so 12, sorry, not 12, 18. 18 times 2 gives me the 36. So 11 times 2 gives me 22. Okay, 12 times 3 gives me 36. So 7 times 3 gives me 21. Okay, what happens to these two minuses? Kafia? Turns it to a plus. So now it's 22 plus 21, which gives you 43. over 36. Okay. Can I change this to a mixed number? Yeah, because my numerator is bigger than my denominator, so I have to do long division. 36 goes into 43 one time with a remainder of 7. So 1 and 7 over 36. Okay. Hey. So then number 11 right here, I see a lot of words. All right. How many of you do not like word problems? Okay, yeah, I don't like word problems either. But you get better at word problems by trying more word problems, practicing word problems, and not avoiding them. So let's say, oh, I'm so stumped. There's too many words. I don't know how to start it. All right. What is today's lesson about? Adding and subtracting fractions. So 50-50 chance. I'm probably gonna have to either add or subtract these two fractions. All right. So I didn't read a single word of what I'm supposed to do, but I know I'm supposed to either add or subtract fractions. That will give you some marks on the test. All right. So the worst thing you should do is leave it blank. So never leave a word problem blank. I've seen so many people do that just because it's a word problem. All right. Let's do the hardest one on this page. Page 22, 19D. If we can do it, it means that you understood everything. Okay. Let's go straight to the hardest one. Question number 19D. I'm just going to rewrite it because it does take more space than this right here. Yeah, you might not have enough space. Okay, 2, 5, 6 minus 4 and 2, 9. Okay, so page 22, number 19D. Okay, so the question is in fraction forms. So do you think if you start off writing the next steps with decimals, yeah, you will not get any marks on this question if you do decimals. I don't need to know how your calculator skill is. I want to know how your fraction skills is. So, what's my very first step? Zachary.
Turn the fractions in the brackets to improper fractions.
Right, even this, I can change it to a improper fraction. So good, that's a first, great first step. So, Zachary, what is this as an improper fraction?
97 over 10.
97 over 10. Okay, is he right? Jeffrey? Is that right?
Oh, it's
Negative. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Trust me, Zachary, you are not alone. When I was marking the exam, I saw so many people drop that negative. It just disappeared. Well, then, do you think missing that negative will change everything in your next 10 steps? Yeah. So be very careful with that. All right, so no, not negative 83. It is 97, but you still have to just put that negative back on. Yeah, so we talked about this yesterday. 10 times 9 plus 7 is 97. And then put that negative on. All right, so next, change these up. So 6 times 2, 12. 12 plus 5, 17. 9 times 4, 36. Plus 2, 38. Okay. Next step. What's my next step? James. Right, this bracket, because bedmass, we should do the brackets next, but I can't just subtract it, so what do I need? Good. Okay, so Lowest common denominator between them is 18. Okay. And then, so 6 times 3 gives you 18. So 17 times 3, you get 51. 51. Okay. And then what about the second fraction? 9 times 2 gives you 18. So 38 times 2, you get 76. Okay. You don't have to worry about the common denominator yet. You should always just do the bracket first and then the next step. Deal with that. Okay, so you have negative 97 over 10. Take away. When you do that, you get, what do you get?
Negative 25 over 18.
Thank you. Okay, again, 2 negative, make it positive. So you have negative 97 over 10 plus 25 over 18. Okay, now that I am adding these two fractions, I need lowest common denominator again. Okay, between these two. What's my LCD here? What's my LCD here between 10 and 18? Okay. So, Kevin? 90, yes. But I know that some of you guys were thinking 180. I'm sure some of you were thinking 180. Let's just say, for the sake of the lesson, I'm going to do 180. Let's just say. So, yes, LCD is 90, but let's just say I didn't catch that. And I can always do the 10 times the 18 to get a common denominator. Okay, so 10 times 18 gives you the 180. So negative 97 times 18, you get negative 1,746. Right? 18 times 10 gives you 180. So 250 times 10.
250.
Oh, sorry. 25 times 10 gives you the 250. Right? Now I can add negative 1746 plus 250. I get negative 1496. Okay. Well, I have an even number and I have an even number. So I know I can definitely reduce this. Since they're both even, I can reduce it by 2. I can divide both numbers by 2 and I get negative 748 over 90. Okay, so if you did 90 right here, you would have just got to here as well. Okay, so it's not the end of the world if you didn't get the LCD. You would just have to reduce it afterwards. Okay, but at least that would have got you going on the math. Uh, but did you realize that these two are still both even numbers? So which means that yes, I can divide again. 374. Yeah, over 45. Is this a good final answer? No, I have to do long division. Change it back to a mixed number. So remember the trick that I taught you guys? 374 divided by 45, that's 8. So 8 times. So 45 times 8, that's 360. So when you subtract it, you have a remainder of 14. So my final answer, Sakuri, what's my final answer?
Negative 8.
Yes.
14 over 45.
Perfect. Oh, did I make a mistake? Oh, okay. Okay, 1 second. Now, so do I have to show all these steps here? No, you don't have to show every single step. Especially like, for example, this step to this step, you don't have to show. When you reduce right here, you don't have to show. So it looks really long, all right? But on the test, there are some steps that you could skip. Obviously, not just skip to the final answer. If you go straight from here to here, do you think you'll get full marks? No. All right. If it took me like 10 steps, I expect you to at least show me 3. Okay. The other thing, as I was saying, if you went straight to your calculator and got a decimal answer, that's not going to do you any good in terms of marks. But what you could do is check your answer using your calculator. So for example, this 14 over 45 is 0.3111. So this equals negative 8.31, I guess. I can go back to here and try it on my calculator. So this is negative 9.7. This right here is 2.83. This here is 4.2. So if this was my question as a decimal, okay, negative 9.7, take away bracket 2.833, take away 4.222, and the answer I get, negative 8.31111, which is what I got. Okay, so if you have time at the end of the test, this is what you should be doing, and you will know I got it right, I did it correctly. If not, that means you made a mistake somewhere and you have time to go back to check it. Okay, question.
On the test, are we allowed to use a different piece of paper so we can show our work?
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. Usually if, so for us, because EQAO is online, I do some work that's on the computer, some work that's on paper. So if it's on paper, I will usually give you guys enough space. Okay, it's just the book doesn't have much space. Okay, sorry, Owen, you were asking me number 12? Between which two consecutive whole number will the result of each of the following lie? Okay, so for example, this one right here. Okay, so let's do 12a. 12a here. So when you add these, because you're adding, you can just add the whole numbers together. So this is 22. So this is just 22 and 4/9. If you change this to a decimal, it will be 22 point something, right? So that means this number is between 22 and 23. So it's asking which whole number is it between. So that's all you have to say, between 22 and 23. Okay. These ones right here though, well, actually it will still work. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, you know what? For my I know some of you recognize this little shortcut. When you're adding mixed number, yes, you can just add the wholes and then deal with the smaller fractions. But when you deal with subtraction, you can't do that because sometimes your second fraction is a bigger fraction than the first fraction. So whenever I do subtraction, I would go with changing it to an improper, changing this to improper, and then subtract. Right? So just a little heads up, because otherwise you might run into trouble when you get into a negative fraction. Okay, so that's all the lesson is today. Perfect timing, 20 minutes. Your homework is page 20 to 22. Okay, so simply page 20 to 22. Answers are on page 23, 24. You have the rest of the class to get started on the homework, which is 45 minutes. That's why I said my morning class, I think almost everybody finished their homework before they left.